Is there, and I suppose, because again, that's where I saw you. Is there anyone? That's a question that I keep thinking. Is there a story that you've seen someone else do? You think, whoa, that is a cracker.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm very friendly with a lot of like Jeremy Bowen. Cardiff boy, very good friend of mine.
I was lives up the road actually.
Yeah, he's lovely bloke. Yeah. King Court. Yeah, and
That's right.
really nice guy. Jeremy's a very good friend of mine. And I really look up to him, what he's achieved. And he's a few years older than me, but he's the kind of, and it's great because you can learn from these guys. The one person in our industry I think stands out. You're talking about legacy. I think the one guy who writes really well is a guy called Alan Little. He was a Scottish correspondent who did a lot of foreign stuff, doing Yugoslav. And I think for me as a broadcast journalist, he's the one person I think I wish I could write like him. Everybody else.
What is it about his writing that you?
The way he's not too flowery, but he just gets prose and he writes to pictures really well.
Yeah. I
think Bowen does as well. But I think, to be honest, most people, without being rude about anybody, myself included, if you're a good journalist, if you're tenacious, if you've got a nose for a story, if you're pretty relentless in going afterwards, nobody really stands out. I don't think. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. Sometimes you're not in the right place, and somebody else gets the story.
Yeah.
I think there's a degree of humility that comes with it. And if you get a good story and you get all the plaudits, great. I'll take the plaudits and the glass of champagne at the end of the night. But if somebody else does it, then good luck to them. I don't bear grudges, and I don't because life's too short.
Yeah. Well, talking about Jeremy, just for 2 seconds, what qualities has he got then? Do you think that?
He's incredibly brave,
because he's on the front line. He comes across like he's on the front line all the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing a lot. I mean, he's the BBC's international editor, so he does. But I think for a story which he and I are both very close to, which is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it's a very tricky story to cover. There's always somebody on either side looking to criticise your coverage, always looking to criticise the BBC for favouring one side or the other.
Yeah,
and I think I understand the story very well, but Jeremy's in a more senior position to me, and he puts his neck on the line. He tells it as he sees it.
Yeah.
Far too many people, I think, in editorial positions and in journalistic positions, try and duck it. They duck the story because they think it's too complicated. They think it's too tricky. So I think some people, even in the BBC, have sort of avoided the issue. That's really bad because it's a really important story to tell. Bowen really tackles it head on, and he tackles his critics head on. And you can't fault him. And I think I try and look at what he does, especially with Israel Palestine, and follow that sort of line because I mean I've been in a similar position. I've done a big story on Israel and Palestine, Gaza, West Bank for the 10 o'clock news, and and there's all at the back of your mind that you want to tell it how it is, and you should tell it how it is, but there's somebody out there looking to pull your work apart.
Right. And I think that because you do it, right? That radical. Yeah. I mean, that I train in radical candor and that radical honesty, and just it saves time. Yeah. It's also right. If I've got something that comes from a place of care, then I can tell you straight.
Yeah.
But the reporting side of it, I take it the honest and the truth is what you're looking to try and find out, right? Yeah. That's all that you're trying to find.
Yeah. Jeremy's just done a podcast, looking at journalism and there's a whole point. Our job is to tell the truth. You make up, it's facts. You make your own mind what those facts mean. I mean, we can also, we don't have an opinion, as if you like, but we can interpret those facts as we see them. What this event might mean, what somebody else might do as a result of this event. But we present you with the facts, and you make up your own mind.
You make your mind.
But I think we have the authority and the right to say what we think that particular event, what this particular set of facts might actually mean.
So what contributes to a really good? So right at the beginning, I think I alluded to in a question earlier on, but what's got to excite it? What if someone comes to you, lands on your desk, you say you get quite a few? What really says, "Oh, I tell you what, we need to look at that one"?
I think.
What is it?
I think for me, it's what is this impact on people? Let's take a fairly innocuous one. I mean, I'm a passionate outdoors person. I love fishing. I love going out for walks. I'm really concerned about water quality, and the pollution, the crap, some of the sewage, some of the farming residue that's going into our rivers, and we've done a lot on that, and I think we should do a lot more on, since we've left the European Union. Brexit has meant that we've deregulated when it comes to environmental standards. I mean, that's a given. And those people really care passionate about those things. And so if somebody brings me proof of environmental degradation or something that's really going on, blatant dumping of sewage or effluent in a river, I think those are stories that you should follow up. Equally, corruption. You look at the kind of money that's been made now out of some of the PPE contracts, whether they're corrupt or not is open to question. But hopefully, some of the inquiry will look at these kind of things. I think those kind of things. If somebody brings you proof of or suggestions of corruption or public malfeasance or anything that affects people's lives, I think is that's what journalism is really. It's got to have an impact on somebody's life, and that can be a bomb landing in the middle of a schoolyard in Ukraine, or it can be somebody dumping half a ton of sewage in a river in Wales.
In the River Taff.
Yeah.
No. And I love that. I love the way how passionate you are about Wales generally and about what.
Yeah. I mean, God, I sort of. I keep my politics to one side, but I think being Welsh is distinctive. I as I say, I'm a Welsh Mancunian. Kids, my wife Becky, she's English, but our kids went through Welsh language education.
Yeah,
I think the Welsh language is, I just don't get it when people don't support the language. I mean, yeah, of course it costs a bit more. It costs a bit more to have bilingual road signs. It costs a bit more to publish a government report. But so what? What do you want? Do you want everybody in the world speaking the same language?
No. I'd like, and I totally agree.
I think I mean, but equally, those who don't speak Welsh should be afforded the same rights and opportunities as everybody else. I think in promoting one thing, we shouldn't be denigrating the other.